When people speak, they have two purposes, sometimes overlapping. Sometimes they simply seek to convey information. When's dinner? At 6. Other times they want to change something, to provoke, prod, pull rank, preen, undermine, or otherwise change something in their world, or change the circumstances in their immediate surroundings. Ordinary speech has varying degrees of truth or falsity. If I say something, like I am now, you can assess just how right or wrong I am. In fact, I'm betting that you're doing that right now. Am I right? Speech acts are important not for what they say, but for what they do. What matters is whether the actions somehow change the world, whether they provoke the other side and get a reaction. Consider this classic work of American literature, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The climactic scene of The Great Gatsby describes a virtual war. Gatsby hurls poisonous daggers at Tom as Daisy stands on the sideline, sometimes seeking to withdraw and sometimes aiding the assault. "Wait a minute," snapped Tom. "I want to ask Mr. Gatsby one more question." "Go on," Gatsby said politely. "What kind of a row are you trying to cause in my house anyhow?" "He isn't causing a row." Daisy looked desperately from one to the other. "You're causing a row. Please, have a little self-control." "Self-control?" repeated Tom incredulously. "I know I'm not very popular. I don't give big parties. I want to know what Gatsby has to tell me." "Your wife doesn't love you," said Gatsby. "She's never loved you. She loves me." "You must be crazy," exclaimed Tom automatically. "She never loved you. Do you hear? She only married you because I was poor and she was tired of waiting." If we thought that this exchange of words was just speech, just conveying information, then we would assess just how true or false all of these statements were. But that's not the point here. The words here are actions. They're like daggers intended to hurt other people. Now it's your turn. Consider how the following statements might be seen as simple pieces of information or as speech acts. "That boy has a big appetite." "Sure, our school has a great football team." "My mama always told me about boys like you." "That speech was long." Let's look at William Shakespeare's tragedy of Macbeth. This is the story of a warrior destined for greatness, and it's also a statement about order and chaos, and it's a cautionary tale about blind ambition. In the opening scene, 4 witches tell Macbeth that he's going to be king. The rest of the story asks, with great suspense, will he? How? And what are the consequences? Lady Macbeth lobbies for her husband to hasten his destiny by killing King Duncan. Macbeth is ambivalent, but his ambition gets the best of him. He agrees to kill the king. The pivotal scene begins when Macbeth changes his mind and tells her, "We will proceed no further in this business." The battle for Macbeth's soul gets fierce. Lady Macbeth dismisses his doubts. "Fight for what you want," she tells her husband, "or be a coward in thine own esteem." He begs for mercy, but she rejects him, questioning his manhood. He wonders about the possibility of failure. Again, no sympathy from his wife. "But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we will not fail," she says. Macbeth could go either way. His conscience and his fear are at war with his ambition and his wife. The result is a disaster. The trees from Burnham Woods help to shroud soldiers as they come for Macbeth in the climactic scene of a terrible civil war in this tragedy. By moving back and forth with the characters using speech acts like thrusts and parries, we see their values, We see their frailties and their capacities, revealing all we need to know about Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Now it's your turn. Think about a time that someone tried to get you to do something that you knew was wrong. How hard did you resist? How did the other person respond to your resistance? How did you respond to that? What ultimately made the difference?